Meet Isaiah, the 19-year-old wholesaler out of Fresno, California, who just made $50,000 on a pre-foreclosure deal. And the best part was, not only did he give an investor an incredible opportunity. Hey, don't laugh at me, bro. I mess up on these videos. The other thing, guys, is he helped a seller in distress. So guys, meet Isaiah.
What's going on, guys?
But before we get into this interview with Isaiah, guys, we got to put the proof on the screen. So editor, I want you to put the settlement statement on the screen right now. Scroll down and you can see that Isaiah made $50,000 in profit. So Isaiah, before we get started, can you just tell the people what the heck is wholesaling? How did you make so much money? What did you do to make this money?
Yeah, so all wholesaling is, right? You find someone that has a problem, a distressed property, and they need to sell their house, right? So you lock it up at a discounted price. Let's say you buy it for $100,000, but you find a cash buyer, an investor who wants to put their money into it, time into it, and fix and flip it, and they want to pay $120,000 for that same house. Then you get the $20,000, and that's all wholesaling is.
I love it. And then you don't need, I don't know, you don't need money to wholesale. Like, do I need to put the cash down to buy the property?
Nope. You don't have to put anything down. Sometimes you have to put an earnest money deposit. For this deal we're talking about today, I put $0 down.
So you spent $0 to make $50,000.
Yep.
Dude, that's some returns that you get on a shit coin in crypto. Like, that is crazy, man. And I just need to check with you. You don't have your real estate license, do you?
Oh, no, I don't.
Let me guess. So you're 19 years old. Do you have like some crazy degree right now? You're some mad genius?
Nope. Dropped out of college.
All right. I'm so excited for this interview, guys. But before we do that, editor, put a picture of the house on the screen that Isaiah wholesaled. Cool. All right, let's get into it. Isaiah, tell me a little bit about yourself. How did you get started with the wholesaling journey? Like, how did you discover what wholesaling was?
Yeah, right. So, I was going to college. You know, I was about 18 years old at the time, I want to say. It was December 2023. And I had found this guy. He was holding a $17,000 check by a mobile home. And he was like, I just made 17 grand at 18 years old. And you know, flexing, of course. Like, who wouldn't want to flex that, man? That's awesome. And that was in December of 2023. So I tried it. I was like, damn, what's this wholesaling thing? I didn't know about freewholesaling.com yet. I don't know. I found some guy on Discord that knew what wholesaling was. He found me off a Facebook group, actually. And then he like contacted me, reached out. I ended up like calling for him with like bad data and in the overpopulated county. I was like, this doesn't work. And then it was on my winter break between colleges, between semesters. So I just went back to school. And then January, February rolls around. I'm still working my 40-hour-a-week factory job. I'm still trying to go to school. I'm just like burning myself out. I'm like, I'm really going to school to make $50,000 after 4 years. What am I doing? So I dropped out. The same day I found freewholesaling.com. I did the whole course in 2 days. And after that point, I was like, damn, every day after work, I'd put hours into my marketing every day after work. And I worked from 4:30 in the morning to 1 p.m.
Dude, I love it. And for those of you that don't know, guys, freewholesaling.com, it's not even my website. That is Zach Ginn's website. It is one of the best or the best free wholesaling course. So go to freewholesaling.com, 100% free, and shout out to Zach Ginn for providing that. And that's actually where I met Isaiah. So I have my own Discord. Isaiah is in Zach Ginn's Discord. Dude, Discord is one of the best places to learn how to wholesale. So if you're not in Discord, guys, make sure to join my Discord. Don't join Zach's. No, join both of our Discords. But Isaiah, so you learned about wholesaling. At first you failed. You came back to it. Dude, you were working a factory job 40 hours a week. And then, you know, you saw this kid who was making 17 grand on one deal, but now you made 50 grand on one deal. So screw that kid. But dude, that's crazy. But like the archetype, the person that wants to be a wholesaler, I mean, you're literally running your own business. You're an entrepreneur. So where did you learn to be an entrepreneur? Why did you want to get into wholesaling? Why did you want to work in pre-foreclosures? Why did you want to do any of this? I want to know your story more as a kid.
Cliche. I mean, growing up, never had any money. I think my mom had been working and my dad was making probably like $40,000 a year. And I'm in California, don't get me wrong, that'd get you by in other places, but you know, I'm in the Central Valley. It's a little bit more expensive cost of living here. And back in '08, of course, I don't remember this, I was only fucking 3, but my house actually got foreclosed on in '08. And I remember having to leave and I remember getting kicked out and stuff like that, but I was just kind of like confused, obviously. I don't remember that process and they didn't tell me about that process. Anyways, growing on, my parents ended up splitting up. It was just always fighting about money, just not a great environment necessarily to grow in. All that stuff's going on. I'm developing through my adult years, right? And right around 15, 16 years old, I end up getting a job at a place called El Pollo Loco. It's like a local chicken restaurant here. I'm working there for a couple years and, you know, I'm liking it. And then now I was never good in school. So for me to go to college, go to community college, that's what my dad wanted. That's what my mom wanted. So I was like, okay, well, I don't know what else I'm going to do. I know I wanted to make money, but I have no idea what I was going to do, right? So I end up going to community college and I leave El Pollo Loco. And since I was 18 at this time already, I go work this factory job. Now, during the El Pollo Loco, before I got this factory job, back in 2021 or 2020, my family was actually going to lose the house that I'm currently in to this day. My stepmom had gotten breast cancer, so my dad had to take a bunch of time off of work to kind of, take care of her and make sure everything was okay. And that obviously, I mean, that was a big bump in the road. I don't know what other way to say that. So he was taking time off work, driving up to San Francisco to go ahead and, get the surgeries done, get the chemotherapy. And it was just, it was hard for, my family. So, when no one's working, there's not a whole lot of money coming in. So there was an auction date set on our home, but luckily the pandemic happened. Right? And we were able to get the COVID relief programs, and our actually mortgage was caught up to date. We were behind $53,000. That was the reinstatement amount, and our COVID relief program was able to come in and catch us all that up just because we qualified for it. So everything's about timing, and I think that just happened to be like our timing, and it ended up working out. And now that's why I focus on my niche foreclosures, and that's why I really do this business, because I want to help people.
This is absolutely beautiful. You took a hard moment from your childhood, and then now you're using that to help other people, and I absolutely love this. And then you're getting paid for the solutions that you're providing people. So guys, what exactly is a pre-foreclosure? For those of you that don't know, it's someone who has a mortgage on their property. Most Americans, they don't buy their properties cash. They can't afford to buy a house $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 cash. They go get a loan from the bank. But if they can't make those monthly mortgage payments, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 per month, they start to get behind. The bank will come and say, hey, we're going to foreclose on you. That's a pre-foreclosure. And these people, they have a few options, but usually the best option for them is to just sell that house. But oftentimes they got to sell so quickly. And if they don't get a quick cash offer, they don't even have time to list on the MLS sometimes. If they can't get a quick cash close, they could lose their house. They could destroy their credit. It could ruin their lives. And that's why people like Isaiah are finding these people who are in pre-foreclosure and then finding a buyer before the auction happens and before they lose their house. And he's getting paid for providing that service. Now, Isaiah, how did you find, that house that my editor put up on the screen? Like, how did you find this lead? Tell me about the seller. What's the story behind this one?
Oh man, this seller loves me, man. I could go through our messages right now. I bought her a storage unit for 6 months, and she gave me a kiss on the cheek, bro. So built super good rapport with this one. The way I got this lead was through the Tulare County Clerk Recorder's office.
So and you got a lady, bro. You're double winning.
And I got a girlfriend. Can you see that message, bro? Or no?
It's a little blurry. Just read it for me.
So this was after I helped them get into an apartment. They said, "You're awesome. Thank God for you." And she's like, and she called me her little blessing too in another message. But super good rapport with that lady. But
that's how it's done.
So I went to the county recorder's office. It's where, if you guys don't know, that's where the list pendances, the notice of defaults, the notice of trustee sales, all those are recorded. Recorder's office, it's just a government building. So I went there, and notice of default, 723 South Garden Street, happened to be there. So I searched it up. I put it in my Google Maps. I go and hit the door. I'm going to go knock this door, right? Yeah. I knock it. Yeah, no one's home, right? So I'm like, okay, no one's home. And I just leave a sticky note. I said, hey, you have 5 options to stop the sale. Please give me a call. And then Isaiah, and then my digital phone number, right? I left it on the door. They call me about 3 days later. This was in the beginning of January. Call me about 3 days later, and they're like, hey, my name's, so-and-so. You left this note. I need help. And that's when I sit there. I learned that she was married to her current boyfriend's brother, and he had left, and yeah, dude.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, anyways, continue.
And, yeah, she was married to her current boyfriend's older brother. He left, and now she was like providing, but then she lost her job, and they lost her job loss, and kind of fell down into this hole. I sat down with them. They wanted to do a loan modification, which all a loan modification means is, like, let's say they owe $100,000 on the house. They're currently behind $10,000. They take that $10,000 and put it on the back end of the loan, and they just start remaking payments on it. So I helped them go through that process. I got authorized as a third-party user on their servicer. I was helping them fill out any paperwork. I was helping them talk to the servicer. It probably takes about 2 months before we get an answer back, but they got the client for the loan modification, right? And at that point, they're like, oh shit, like, what do we do? And that's when I go and I sit down and have like a long, very emotional conversation with them. I was there probably for about 2 hours, and they're like, look, Isaiah, we told you from the beginning that if we have to sell, we're only going to sell with you. Let's do it. Like, we just want $120,000 for the house because that's what we bought it for. And I told her, I was like, look, I can't give you 120,000. I could give you 140,000, you know, and they were just like, oh my God, like, you know, that's awesome. And, you know, I was able to lock it up for 140. I gave them a 28-day hold back afterwards, which just means they have an extra 28 days in the house. I'm holding $10,000 back, but then they have time to find a place, get their ducks in a row and in order, because that auction date was coming up. So I wanted to close before the auction date. So we got all that figured out for them. They were able to get an apartment, like I said, and I found a buyer that I knew because he gets really, really good private money. Like, I think he's borrowing money at like 6%. And yeah, and he's a realtor. So he was able to have, so the house was in really good condition. It was just dirty and kind of outdated, but he was able to find someone who would pay 220 for it. So he bought it for me for 190 and he's getting someone in there for 220.
Oh my. This is the craziest story. And the craziest part to me is that because you built such a good rapport with the seller, and guys, at the end of the day, this is not a transactional business. This is a relationship business. If you want to get good at wholesaling, you got to know how to have conversations. You got to know how to genuinely help people. So Isaiah, you know, wooed this woman. She loves him now. And she said, you could have the house for 120 and you said no 140. So you could have made 70K, but you gave 20 to the sellers. Dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. I mad respect for you. And then you sold it for 190 to a realtor who was also a fix and flipper, if I'm understanding correctly. And then he was planning on actually fix and flipping his house. And I want to get into the numbers here in a second. ARV, rehab, percentage of ARV, all the fun math. But he actually was about to fix and flip it, but then found a retail buyer who wanted it because the house is in pretty good condition. It's not your typical completely ugly house. And he just made a quick sell for 220. So do I get it?
Yep, you got it.
Dude, crazy. Okay, so I'll get into the numbers here in a little bit, but what more do you want to talk about this deal? I mean, there's something I'm sure that comes to mind that you want to talk about.
Yeah, so a lot of people go after pre-foreclosures. I mean, it's easy, right? You don't have to worry about their motivation. And you don't have to worry about time frame. They have a set motivation and they have a set time frame. They can't afford their bills, right? But I think when you come from the perspective of like, okay, how could I really help these people? And how could I be a problem solver and just really, really care about these people? I think that's where the money's going to come in, and I think it's going to pay off tenfold, because I could call this lady right now and she would have nothing but good things to say about me. And if someone else is in a similar situation that she's in, she's going to be like, you need to call Isaiah. And like I said, I wish someone, when my family was in this situation, I wish someone came to my family and was like, hey, how can I help you out? Like, here's your options that you have to keep the house. This is what it looks like. These are the real options that you have. And then, like, you know, just help us out. Like, hold my hand and guide me there, right? And in my market, there's not too many people that do that. So just, I think helping people, thinking how can I serve them and take away like your profit. Like, this whole time I wasn't thinking, ooh, I'm gonna make 70 grand or 50 grand. That wasn't my intention this whole time. I just wanted to help the seller to the best of my ability.
That's how really all the deals where I've made the most money on, I was always trying to help the seller first, and then the money came from actually providing a solution. Like Paige Norbury says, you know, figure out the bunnies, and then once you figure out the bunnies, solve the problem.
I know the
bunnies, bro. But my favorite part about this, man, is that you get these people who are like, I'm broke. You see this $100? I don't even have $100 to my name. How am I supposed to go and wholesale? I can't get VAs. I can't set up expensive dialers and text blasting. I can't buy PPL. I can't do PPC campaigns. Bro, you went to the county government website, which is free. You pull a request of different lists. There's code violation lists. There's fire damage lists. You pulled like a pre-foreclosure list, and then you didn't even use an expensive dialer. You went up there and knocked on their friggin' door and then left a sticky note. Guys, $50,000 he spent zero. You know why? Because you're not lazy. You're not lazy, Isaiah. You're a freaking hustler, bro. That's crazy.
Dude, I was literally at the courthouse before I hopped on this thing.
Guys, that's what it takes.
Literally. I go 2 times a week, man.
This business is not for lazy people, guys. If you're smart, wonderful, you'll do better. But at the end of the day, it's the hustle. It's the freaking hustle. I don't think any of us are. Hey, no, maybe you're a genius. I don't want to say it, but I know for myself, like I ain't no genius, guys.
I'm a dumbass. I'm a dumbass, dude. Hell no,
dude. It's just, guys, you gotta put the work in. You gotta put the work in, and it's just, you get the results. So I want to know about the math on this one. Then I actually want to know more about like your current operations, how many deals you're doing a month, where you want to get, and maybe I can provide a little bit of help and value to you to help you get there. But current numbers, Isaiah. So here's the house that Isaiah wholesaled. And guys, all he did was get the property under contract. He sent them a purchase and sale agreement. They signed the agreement. I bet you used like a simple 2-pager, right, Isaiah?
Yep, use a simple 2-pager from freewholesaling.com.
See, you literally used a free contract from freewholesaling.com. They signed a contract, and once he signed a contract, he had equitable interest in that property. When you have equitable interest, you can't sell houses. Isaiah's not a licensed realtor. You can sell contracts. You can sell the right of your contract to an investor for more money. That's it. You don't have to spend any money to do this. You don't need your real estate license. He just sold a contract. So this is the house. And as you guys can see, the house is really not in that bad of condition. So Isaiah said that literally all they did was cleaned it up before he sold it. That realtor sold it to that end buyer and put like new counters. Is that right, Isaiah?
No, so the homeowner actually put new countertops in there.
Oh, okay, yeah. So literally, guys, the house wasn't even that ugly, but I still want to know the numbers. So what was the after repair value on this property, Isaiah?
It was about 275 to 280.
Guys, that means that fixed up, this house would be worth about $280,000. And how much do you think the repairs were to get it there?
Honestly, like 15 grand. Wasn't much.
So let's just say that repairs were about $20,000. And guys, in really good areas, you can usually sell deals for about 80% of what we call ARV, okay? This is in really good areas, maybe 78% in this type of neighborhood. So just some quick math, taking $280,000 times 80%, and then you subtract 20,000. That gives us a total sort of where we could roughly sell the deal for of just about $200K. And that makes sense, guys, because Isaiah sold it for $190. So he sold it for just about that formula. But my favorite part about this, Isaiah, did you use any fancy formulas? Did you use percentage of ARV? Did you use any of these crazy calculations? Or what did you do to figure out what you should offer and what you should sell it for?
No, I've been wholesaling my market too for a little bit now. So once you do it after so long, you just have an understanding. I walked into the house and honestly, I said, okay, 30 grand worth of repairs. So that's funny that it equaled right up to 190 when you do 30. I've just been doing it so long, long enough, man, to where, especially in Visalia, the average median home price is about 370,000 or something like that. So a home that someone gets a pickup for 190,000 that's not in super piss poor shape and could sell for 280, oh dude, that'll fly so quick, man. Like I could have had a bidding war, but I don't really do that. So I didn't really run no numbers. I just knew what was good. I mean, fuck.
Bro, I love that, and that's why I really encourage people to master one market. Like if you send me a house here in Dallas, Texas, like I literally know immediately what I should buy it for, what I should sell it for, just because I know my market really well. Now that's not to say that I don't wholesale in all other states, but I have one market where I make the majority of my money. Now, you just so happen to be in that market. But what if, you're in a different state and you want to wholesale in a really good market? What if you're in a different country? Can you do this virtually?
Yeah. Hell yeah, you can.
Guys, you can literally wholesale virtually pretty much as easily as you can wholesale locally. So just choose one market. And guys, just some tips to you is, what's the population in that city, county that you were doing your deals?
So Visalia is about 150,000. The county, I'm sure it's like closer to 250.
Guys, you want to look for markets where there are at least over 100,000 population, but also there's a lot of investment activity, right? There's people buying houses, there's people selling houses, there's investors coming in and making pretty fix and flips. If your population is more than 100K, there's a lot of activity going on. That's a great market. So Isaiah, we talked about your deal. We talked about you. We talked about all of it. I'm just curious. I bet you everyone here wants to know, like, we sort of know that you've been wholesaling for a little bit over a year, dude. You started, dude, from nothing. You didn't pay for some $10,000 course. You didn't get a trust fund allocation to you so you could set up a crazy wholesaling system. So how many deals are you doing per month? And then where do you want to get to?
So I'm averaging, so if we take just like pure math, right? It took me about 3 months to get my first deal. So that might have took me a little bit longer. I got it done, and then I think since then it hasn't even been a year yet. Holy shit. So maybe like 10 months, and I've done, this is my 11th deal, and I have 2 more in escrow that I should be closing on hopefully next month.
Whoa.
I'm about a deal a month.
That's still awesome though. And then what is like 50,000, I can't believe that's like an average, right? That has to just be a huge home run. But like, what's your average deal you're getting?
Honestly, my average deal recently has been 30 grand.
Ooh, because let me guess, is it because you're both finding the deal and also selling the deal?
Yeah.
There you go. Guys, so on average, when you're wholesaling, maybe, if you can make $10,000 on each deal, that's awesome. But most times you're not actually doing the acquisitions, which is when you're going and getting the property under contract from a seller and then also selling that deal to an investor. Some people do both, like Isaiah, but most people are JVing, where they joint venture and they do half the work and they get half the money and someone else does the other half. But Isaiah, I'm curious, why have you not reached out to a dispo partner in your area to sell your deals?
So just because everything here sells so quick, man. Like anything I've gotten under contract, I've literally assigned it the same day. Like it's flown off the shelf. But I have JV'd with people.
Okay.
It's not like I'm not taking down everything myself. It's just I JV'd with people because there are things that I'm really not that good at, and there's things that I excel at. You want me to have a 40-minute conversation with the seller? Oh, baby, put me in that room. You know what I mean? But like if you want me to get super mathematical about things, fucking someone else could do it. But I do JV with some people, my friends now, but I literally just met them like 5 months ago, and we've already made like over $60,000 together. You know what I mean?
Love it. Yeah, I mean, if guys, that's really what it takes. If you have a few good buyers, you can sell them a lot of your deals. But at some point, you may need somebody else to step in and sell your deals. I do both. And if you guys do need dispo service, ad time. Isaiah, who is the best dispo in Fresno? It's not me. It's this guy, guys. So if you do have any deals, make sure to send them to Isaiah and JV with him. If you get a deal in Central Valley, California, Isaiah will help you. He can go take down your leads. He can go knock some doors. He can help you sell them. Absolutely, guys. Reach out to Isaiah. Isaiah, how should people reach out to you?
Reach out to me on Instagram, IZAIAH.Reynoso, REYNOSO, or Facebook. It's the same thing, Isaiah Reynoso.
Cool. It's going to be right there. And then, guys, if you need dispo anywhere else other than Central Valley, California, reach out to me, maxdispo.com. Editor, put my website up on the screen, guys. I'll help you dispo in all 50 states. Send me your deals. The community has been making a lot of money. All right. So you're doing about 1 deal a month. Well, what is holding you back from taking these numbers to 2 deals, 3 deals, 4 deals? Some people are doing, 10 deals a month. How can you scale to that point? Or are you just really freaking happy with where you're at right now?
I am happy with where I'm at. Am I satisfied? No. But I'm very happy at being like 19 years old and making damn near 30 grand a month. That's awesome, man. There's no other way to say it. I do want to get to that level where I'm getting 3 deals a month, 4 deals a month. And where I'm struggling at is my CRM, my follow-ups, and tracking my numbers. Because don't get me wrong, I could talk to a seller all day and I could sell a damn deal. But it's like, okay, Isaiah, how many leads did you have coming this month? I really couldn't answer that question for you. So I've been trying to put conscious effort into, okay, this is how much money I'm spending this month. This is how much leads I'm getting in this month. And honestly, most of it's because I had to pay taxes. So,
bro, I remember the first, I was a little bit older than you, and I finally started to make some money, and I was like, oh my God, I have to pay this much in taxes.
Dude, and it's cool. My CPA, or the lady that files my taxes, right? She sees this jump, right? She sees me go from El Pollo Loco, 15 grand, right?
Yeah.
High school. Sees me go to $20,000 a year, factory job, and sees me now and goes, what the Isaiah, what did you do? And I'm like,
I swear it's legal, bro. I'm just wholesaling real estate. I promise.
yeah, I'm like, come on, Christina, don't ask questions. How much do I owe?
Okay, so we're at the point now where you're a business owner. You've capped out the amount of money that you can make by yourself without adding in one of 2 things, whether that's employees or technology. So you need to start to duplicate Isaiah's, because yes, you will slowly get better and better and you'll slowly make more and more money. But how can you go from hundreds of thousands to millions? Is we need to now duplicate you with technology, aka CRMs, automations, follow-ups, AI, or getting good employees on your team, whether that's overseas employees or actually, local people that you're hiring for acquisitions or dispositions. So right now, what do you think the focus is? Is it getting that CRM together and getting that technology together?
Well, I just hired a door knocker, actually.
Okay.
Some guy was like door knocking, asking, like doing gutters, right? And he was really persistent. I told him like, no, we probably don't want to, but he was really persistent. I was like, I got something that would pay you way better. So I got him door knocking for me, just commission only. So I just got that. I mean, he still like works other jobs and stuff like that, so it's a little bit hard. He's not full time like I wish he would be, but I'm learning that. But it's definitely right now I need to hone in on my CRM. I have a good CRM. I have Go High Level, so I'm just not applying it. You know what I mean? I'm lacking in that area.
Okay, Isaiah, let me give you some advice from someone who was in your shoes. And actually, I still struggle with it too. But I went from dead ass broke to making really good money relatively quickly. And it took me a few years to realize that I'm no longer dead ass broke and I don't need to be panicking and trying to penny pinch every dollar. And finally, after a few years of a mental battle, I can finally spend money to reinvest in myself. So let's say you are making 30K a month, okay? You are making, let's just call it 300K a year. That means that your time is worth $150 per hour. So any task, and I'm saying anything other than wiping your ass that you're doing yourself that you could pay someone to do that costs less than $150 per hour, you're wasting your time. So if you're still making your bed in the morning and you could pay someone $30 an hour to do that, it's a waste of your time and money. So that's in the personal side, but just in your business, you hired a door knocker. You should not be door knocking any more doors, dude, because you can pay someone 10, 20, $30 an hour to do that. VA work, whether that's adding stuff to your CRM, pay someone 10, 20, $30 to do that. Like slowly start hiring these things out. So just figure out in your life, like what tasks are you doing that you can hire out for? Does it cost you less than $150 per hour? I'm sure it does. Then just go hire it out.
I need to do that, man.
I'm sure just think, your homework throughout the day, dude, is this next week, literally write down every task that you're doing. And then at the end of the week, you say, oh, I could automate this one. I could automate this one. I can automate this one. Why is someone not responding to my leads? Oh, I could automate that. Then you can meet with me and we could say we could get one person, two people, or three people to do all this stuff. Offshore employees, dude, are, you can get quality for cheap. I used to edit my own videos. I have 2 full-time editors now. It's costing me about $10 an hour for both of them combined. Do you think I should be editing my own videos for $10 an hour? No, right? Like, so we can slowly, I think for $10, $20, $30 a month, you can have all of your tasks in your business offshored and also automated. You're an entrepreneur now, man. Yeah, you're making money.
No, I know.
Start acting like one. Start acting like the CEO.
Yeah, I need to write that shit down, man, because it's so true. And I've heard it like 4 times now, and I'm like, they're right. Like every time I hear it, I'm like, yep. They're right.
Okay, so that's your homework. And for anyone watching, guys, that's homework for you too if you're at the point where you're starting to scale. And even if you have some savings, guys, I know some guys who haven't yet made money, but they've already freaking manifested the fact that they're going to make money. They know they're going to be successful. They know losing's not an option. And they've already spent thousands of dollars because they know they're going to make that money. So even pre-revenue, you can do this, but I really recommend it post-revenue when you are scaling. So let's get that done, dude. And then go hire out a GHL developer. Don't do it yourself. Spend $200-$300 and have some guy build out
Fiverr.
Okay, a little tip to you guys. Fiverr, Upwork are great. My favorite website, my little hack is I like onlinejobs.ph. You have to pay $60 a month for an account. I'm not sponsored, but that's where I've hired my last 5 Filipino employees. Onlinejobs.ph. It's like Craigslist for employees in the Philippines, and you can just reach out to people directly. So Fiverr works, Upwork works, onlinejobs.ph, and there are some other sites. Get in there and just hire out all this stuff, dude. I mean, it's here. Let me ask you a question a different way. If you could magically spend $10,000 and have an entire wholesale ecosystem built, would you do it?
Yeah.
Okay, well then you can do it for a lot less than 10 grand. Do you have a website and a lead funnel?
Yes and no. I do have a website, but it's not super polished or anything like that.
Website, $200 to develop. Would you pay?
Really?
Would you pay? Yes, I have a full-time web developer.
Yes, I'd pay $200.
Okay, there you go. I have a full-time web developer. You charge me $10 an hour. You can have your website in 20 hours.
What the fuck?
You need to start hiring out this stuff. It took me 3 months how to learn how to code a website, and I coded a website that I was so proud of 3 years ago. I needed to rebuild the website. I gave it to him. He was done in 3 days and looked better than whatever I could have built. And I was like, bro, I wasted 3 months of my time learning how to code websites when I could have just had some dude code it and paid him $200. So write down, you have work, man. You got homework. You think you're going to come on this podcast and you think you're going to flaunt your $50,000. Hell no, you got homework. You're going to write down every single thing you do throughout the day, everything. And we're going to help you scale so that you're at the point where you're making 7 figures. Cause dude, you got that work ethic. We just need to get you the team.
Dude. Yeah, man.
All right. Well, you can always reach out to me on Discord, bro. I'll help you out.
Hell yeah, man. I love it. Thank you, man. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Okay. Any final words of advice for the people out there? Motivation for the wholesalers who are struggling to get their first deal?
Yeah, man. The only way you fail in this business is if you quit. So don't get me wrong, when you're at that factory job, I remember my boss telling me this. Like, hey, like if you work harder and you do better, we want to promote you to the higher paying jobs where you're getting like $18 an hour. You're not worth $18 an hour. You're worth as much as you can make yourself worth. So no matter if you're 19, 18, 35, 40, it doesn't matter. Just don't give up and imagine where you're going to go and then farther once you get there. So.
I love that. Let's fucking go. Let's go, Isaiah. All right, guys. It's been a pleasure having Isaiah on the podcast. Make sure to subscribe. Go follow Isaiah. Send him your deals in the Central Valley. And we'll bring him on again for when he closes his next 50K deal.
100K next.
100K next. Let's go, dude. All right. That would beat my record. All right. See you guys.